Ladies and gentlemen, I want to read you something absolutely phenomenal. This will make your day, okay? This is Gallup. Gallup poll, he's at 49%. I mean, President Trump is doing phenomenally well. When you consider the media is against him, when you consider, take things into context, every day there's an onslaught, a media onslaught against President Trump. The people don't, take these things into consideration. The context here is you have a president who is constantly beleaguered by the media. The Democratic Party, Hollywood, social media, every day, the cyber reality of liberals and Democrats, it converges upon President Trump. Oh my God, he did this. How come he didn't know about that? How come Cuomo didn't know about it? How come Newsom and Cuomo want to shut down both states, 20% of the U.S. GDP? How come they didn't talk about this in January or February? How come they weren't asking the federal government for this? For anything that they're asking now. They weren't on top of it, and they're supposed to run their states. He has to run the country. But here, the average American approves of President Trump. He's not only at 49% in Gallup, Axios Harris, he's at 56% approval rating for his handling of everything. Emerson polling, he's at 49% approval, okay, versus 41 who don't approve, but 49% approval, Emerson polling. Axios Harris, 56%. ABC News, 55% of Americans approve of the president's management. Okay, but this is really interesting. His job approval rating is 92% among Republicans. So, quote, this is from Gallup, where he's at 49%. The president's job approval rating has remained steady among Republicans, 92%, but he's gained 8 points among independents, 43%, and 6 points among Democrats. He has gained 6 points among Democrats. How do you gain 6 points among Democrats if they've devoted their lives to stopping you? This is Kimberly Strassel was saying this the other day, or tweeted this out. Do you know they wanted to add a provision within the stimulus where they could actually investigate or, investigate President Trump's handling of this? All they want to do is politicize everything, while at the same time saying, hey, you can't politicize certain things. You're talking about the most duplicitous, disingenuous, insidious political party. And you have to take things into account. It's in context. He's increased his support among Democrats. So is at 7% of Democrats. It's now at 13%. 13% is not there are 13% of Democrats who, according to this poll, who are okay, who said, you know what, and I actually know a lot of people who are Democrats who are saying, you know what, I like President Trump, I like what he's doing, or at least he's there, acting presidential. They'll say that type of thing. But you have to understand something. When he is gaining support, when he is at 55% according to ABC. So this is a Washington Examiner article. Latest ABC News poll, ABC News Ipsos poll shows that Trump has shifted his fortune from weak and now has a 55% approval rating for the handling of the crisis. 55% approval rating. Axios Harris, 56% approval rating. Emerson, 49%. Gallup, 49%. And in the Gallup poll, he's up 8 points among independents and 6 points among Democrats. And then all you hear now from the media is, oh, Cuomo, America's governor. This is the guy who said America was never great. Where was Andrew Cuomo in January? January is the time you should have. January or February, they were saying, well, Trump knew. The intelligence community told him. Yeah, right. The intelligence community told him, but didn't tell the United States of America. Wow, that's really, they leak the Steele dossier, but they don't leak details of what's going on. Yeah, that's yet another lie by officials who have never been right about anything, from the Gulf of Tonkin to the Bay of Pigs to Bush's failed foreign policy endeavors that President Trump is reversing. Thank God, he's a great president. Trump is a great president, but you look, just type in, let's just do it right now. Andrew Cuomo, January 2020. Let's just see. Well, what was he doing January 2020? This is Governor Cuomo outlines 2020 agenda, making progress happen. You could just look at this right here. You could just look at this right here. You get nothing. There's not one mention here of everything going on. He had Governor Cuomo outlines 2020 agenda, making progress happen. 2020 State of the State. January 8th, 2020. Where was he talking about? Where was he talking about anything to do with respirators, with masks? Let's look at, does he talk about masks? No. Does he talk about respirators? No. You know what? I'm going to put this. Governor Cuomo outlines 2020 agenda, making progress happen. Not one mention. This is like the ultimate. Actually, I'm glad I did this. This is a very important segment. Okay? You can share this segment with anyone who thinks Cuomo is like this amazing governor. January 8th, 2020. He outlines the 2020 State of the State. And this is part of his address. I think it's the actual address here. In the 10th State of the State address, Governor advances bold agenda to continue New York's bold role as a progressive capital of the nation. Okay? Here's everything he wants to. 2020 making progress, highlights, creating $3 billion Restore Mother Nature Bond Act. Restore Mother Nature Bond Act. That doesn't talk about respirators. Establishing paid sick leave for New Yorkers. Okay, but that has nothing to do. Legalizing. Okay, I agree with that. Lowering tax rates for small businesses. Good. Continuing middle-class tax cuts. Okay, good. Was he Republican? Protecting gig economy workers. Okay, you're not really doing that. Fighting childhood poverty. Impaneling blue ribbon task force to expand electric vehicles. All right. Ensuring cellular coverage across New York. Expanding free college tuition to more middle income. Okay. Addressing veteran and law enforcement suicide and homelessness. Yes, very important. Increasing and modernizing okay, that's like way down. Is increasing and modernizing emergency response capacity. Talking about New York counties being flooded twice. Nothing mentioned here. Adding e pluribus unum to the state seal. Okay. Requiring, I thought America was never great. Streamlining and simplifying New York's court system, building the Empire Station Complex, requiring public officials to disclose their tax returns. Okay, it's for Trump. Reimagining the Erie Canal. Tell me again. Combating climate change. Banning single-use and packaged styrofoam products. Growing New York's green economy. Nothing here about fake apocalypse. Nothing here. Nothing. He shut down the entire state, people. He shut down the entire. I could do the same thing with Gavin Newsom. So this will be in the beginning of the description of this segment right here. You will see increasing solar prepare electric grid for the new renewable generation. Okay, here continuing unprecedented economic growth. There's not one mention here. Not one mention here of masks or ventilators. Not one mention. Not one mention. You can just not even one mention of the flu. Nothing. And now he's America's governor. Because in the beginning of January of this year, January 8th, 2020, his 2020 State of the State made zero mention of this. That's why President Trump has a 49 to 55% approval rating because of his due to his handling of this. This is a very important segment. I'll put the link below. He made no mention of this, and now they're praising him as America's governor. Oh, what a great response. And then they go after Trump. Well, how come Trump didn't know about this? It's like, well, no, the states have to address this. They had the information. If you're saying Trump had the information, what about Andrew Cuomo? Well, read the January State of the State address. He made zero mention to ventilators, masks, anything to do with the crisis. Nothing to do. So on January 8th, he was more interested in renewable energy than this. And so you could just hear Gavin Newsom. Let's do it with Gavin Newsom. January 2020. Okay. So here you have Governor Newsom proposes 2020 state budget. All right. So this is California right here. Let's just see if he brings it up. Okay. Anything to do with the 2020-2021 state budget? Let's see. Masks? No. Ventilators? No. Nothing about the... Okay. You can read this here, addressing the affordability crisis, confronting the homelessness crisis. Well, there's a lot of the words crisis here. Let's see. Crisis. There's 7 or 6. Okay, affordability crisis, homelessness crisis. Okay, anything to do with the Budweiser crisis. Addressing the affordability crisis, the state's affordability crisis. Confronting the homelessness crisis. Okay, talks about that. Nothing to do. You want to know what his proposed budget was for 2020 that was published on January 10th, 2020? Nothing. This is a very important segment. I know I'm repeating myself and saying this, but this is at the heart of the matter right here. They want, you talking about Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo want federal funding for their states because they mismanage their states. They have no money for the major homeless crisis that they both have. You look at the aggregate numbers, they don't warrant 40 million people. 40 million people being shut down. Are you kidding me? 40 million people, 20% of the U.S. GDP. And in January, both of these governors, I'll put Gavin Newsom's January 10th, 2020 budget proposal. That not one mention. So these people didn't mention anything. Not even within the budget. With Newsom, it's even worse. Well, actually, it's both incriminating, because he has the State of the State address. This is the actual state budget, where he's talking about the state budget. Okay, this both very incriminating. Notice how they don't talk about exactly what they expect Trump to have alerted them, because they had access to the same information. The intelligence community never introduced anything to Trump. President Trump. That's a complete and utter lie. If the intelligence community wants anything out there, they leak it through about 4 or 5, no more than that, but they're already like 2 to 4 well-known liberal journalists that worked with the FBI for the past couple of years, basically worked with them. We're public relations, and everybody knows who they are. They're, so even in the IG report, the FBI basically had its own public relations. It basically had its own public relations firms. So the American media and the wonderful corrupt intelligence chiefs and agents and all of this, all these people who just didn't like Trump and wanted to spread all this nonsense about the dossier, about Trump Russia, they went from Trump Russia to now pretending to save lives. When in January, they're saying, well, Trump should have known about this. None of them spoke about this. And they're the ones who are now complaining that they don't have the resources when they didn't even talk about this in January. And here's the proof. I will give you both of these links below in the description section. Share this with anybody who thinks that Andrew Cuomo or Gavin Newsom are fantastic governors. The proof is that in January of 2020, none of them were talking about this, either in their state budgets or just in the state of the state or whatever. None of them were talking about this. You could probably go and look at the historical record being, 2 months ago? It's not ancient history. The Democrats, 2 weeks is like ancient history. They live in this cyber world where if it's 2 weeks old, it's like a spoiled milk or something. They just don't want to, they don't know what happened even a week ago. They only know what's going on today, and it's a calamity, and it's all Trump's fault. People know this is not Trump's fault. People know that governors were did not do what they needed to do, and now they want federal funding. But here, give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. He's up among Democrats, President Trump. And as New York and California shut down, and then you have, like, this is unbelievable. And people say, oh, you can't open up the economy. In the past 2 weeks, 1 million Californians filed for unemployment. There's a political component to this, ladies and gentlemen. The political component is you better believe if Clinton were president, they would not have shut down California and New York. There's no way they would have. Give me your thoughts below. This country is going to rebound quickly. Whether or not Cuomo or Newsom open their states up to business, the country will still rebound. The bad thing is that Californians and New Yorkers will be left behind because of people like Cuomo and Newsom who didn't even, here's the proof below, they didn't even address the current crisis in January. No mention of what they claim to, oh my God, we need this, we need that. Well, why weren't you talking about it in January? Why are you blaming Trump? You're supposed to govern. You're the governor of your state. You're supposed to govern your state. Instead, you have New York and California more focused on trying to take down Trump with lawsuits. Give me your thoughts below. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for people who support me via Patreon and via my super chat when I am on my live streams. I will have a live stream today, probably around 3 p.m. Pacific or so. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much.